want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
Rachel Zegler had hoped to quiet her critics, but her latest post did the opposite. It sparked a storm online. In a video that quickly went viral, filmed from what seemed to be her bedroom, the Snow White actress stared into the camera with a mix of frustration and defiance. Throughout the video, Zegler addressed the persistent criticism surrounding the project since its announcement, standing firm in her belief that her work deserves recognition despite the hostility she has encountered.
When the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
She spoke with the confidence of someone trying to reclaim her narrative, but the internet had other plans. Within minutes, clips from the video were circulating like wildfire. TikTokers stitched it with reactions ranging from disbelief to comedy skits. Fans and critics alike weighed in, dissecting every word, every gesture, and every expression. Some defended her, praising her courage for speaking out, while others poked fun, creating memes that spread even faster than the original clip. The hashtags associated with her name began trending, drawing attention from corners of the internet she had never anticipated. Amid the chaos, Zegler's followers rallied behind her, sharing messages of support and encouragement. Yet, the backlash remained loud, a reminder of how quickly personal moments can become public fodder. In the digital age, even attempts at sincerity can spiral into something entirely uncontrollable.
Excuse me, your curtain. Please allow me to help.
Help? From you?
I didn't mean to offend. I just thought you should know that
That I should know what? That some privileged white guy thinks his opinion matters? Get over your entitlement. I'm not some damsel in distress waiting for you to ride in on your high horse.
While the Twitterverse descended into full-blown chaos, Rachel Zegler's video did not offer the redemption arc she had hoped for. Instead, she had unknowingly handed her critics a goldmine. Every frame, every word, and every expression was dissected, clipped, and shared across platforms, fueling debates that spread far beyond her follower base. Comment sections overflowed with hot takes, ranging from sympathetic defenses to harsh critiques, while meme accounts and reaction videos amplified the frenzy. Influencers and social media personalities weighed in, some mocking, some analyzing, all contributing to the viral storm. News outlets ran multiple stories, framing the moment as a cultural flashpoint. Amidst this, industry insiders quietly observed, noting how a single, candid post could ignite both support and scorn at unprecedented speed. Rachel's attempt to control her narrative had, paradoxically, amplified the very scrutiny she sought to temper. In the age of social media, the line between personal expression and public spectacle had never been thinner.
Snow White, budget $250 million, box office $43 million. Oh, but it's only been 2 days, give it a chance. No, I'm not going to give it a chance. I'm not even talking about that number. Because like all the flops are unsurprising at this point. Something is going on behind the scenes with almost every major animation, video game, and movie studio that they're doing this intentionally or something. I don't fucking know. I'm not even going to talk about this. People are like, oh wow, Snow White flopped. Who is surprised? You cast arguably the least genuine, most out of touch, and disliked person in her industry, and her industry is Hollywood. And the bad guy is Gal Gadot.
The hashtags told the whole story. Hashtag Tash Snowflock and others quickly trended, turning what should have been a heartfelt defense into a lightning rod for criticism. Rachel Zegler's message was widely interpreted as tone-deaf, self-centered, and out of touch with the reality of the film's reception. For some, it was an eye-opening moment that confirmed their worst impressions. For others, it was a rallying cry to defend her. Social media users dissected every phrase, debating whether her frustration was justified or misplaced. Memes and reaction videos flooded platforms, mocking her words while also spreading the clip further than any official trailer ever could. Even entertainment journalists took note, running think pieces about the impact of social media scrutiny on young actors. Meanwhile, the volume of reactions created a chaotic mix of empathy, mockery, and cultural commentary. In the end, what was intended as a personal statement became a viral case study in how quickly public perception can spiral in the digital age.
Alright guys, I watched Snow White, so you don't have to. Let's get into it. Now, first things first, Snow White gets her name not from the fairness of her skin, as we obviously know Rachel Zegler would be a miscast in that sense. Instead, she gets her name from surviving a snowstorm. Her father and mother are king and queen to a utopian communist society. I'm not joking, guys. Everybody shares and is mindful of what each person is getting, and we spread our resources evenly, which is where this idea of fairness, as Snow White is the fairest of them all, is really presented in the film.
Some even celebrated the chaos. Screenshots of review bombs, meme threads mocking her statements about not needing a prince, and out-of-context clips from old interviews all resurfaced like clockwork. Every past comment or gesture became fodder for online debate, as if the internet had been waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Reaction videos multiplied, stitched together with sarcastic captions and comedic soundbites, turning her earnest statements into viral content. Influencers and content creators weighed in, some defending her courage, others ridiculing her tone, further fueling the discussion. Even older, unrelated interviews were dug up and circulated, used to paint her as inconsistent or out of touch. Social media platforms buzzed nonstop, with trending hashtags and viral challenges keeping her statements in the spotlight for days. Amid it all, it became clear that in the digital age, no post is ever truly private and no message ever fully controlled.
I'm a narcissist. Original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
Okay.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird. And then it became like, I will elbow everyone out of the way to play the part. That people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie, Andrew Burnap. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
I say, if I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
And we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
What was meant to be a fairy tale comeback had become a digital witch trial. In the court of social media, the villain wasn't the evil queen, it was Rachel herself. Every word she had spoken, every gesture she had made was scrutinized and dissected relentlessly. People didn't forget her earlier press interviews, where she had joked about the original 1937 Snow White as weird and creepy. Those comments resurfaced like ghosts, shared in screenshots and clips, fueling the narrative that she was out of touch or dismissive of beloved classics. Even journalists jumped into the fray, analyzing her statements and the backlash, turning a single video into a cultural flashpoint. Supporters tried to remind audiences of her talent and dedication, but the wave of critique was powerful and unrelenting. In the end, what had been intended as a heartfelt response became a viral spectacle, a cautionary tale of how quickly online admiration can turn to scrutiny.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Those clips had aged like milk. But the online backlash wasn't just talk. It translated into cold, hard numbers. Snow White opened to a stunningly weak $45 million at the domestic box office. For a Disney live-action remake, especially one carrying the historic legacy of the company's first animated feature, that number was shocking. By comparison, The Little Mermaid, despite its own controversies and heated online debates, pulled in a healthy $95 million on its opening weekend. Box office analysts were not merely concerned, they were stunned. Some labeled it Disney's biggest miscalculation in years, while others flat out called it a flop. Either way, the figures told an undeniable story. Audiences were turning away. Major theater chains began quietly reallocating screens, slotting Snow White into less desirable showtimes and replacing it with higher-performing titles. Some locations dropped the film entirely within its second week. For a company like Disney, known for dominating the theatrical landscape, this was uncharted territory. For Rachel, the fallout was intensely personal. Despite her talent and dedication, the combination of critical backlash, viral social media criticism, and underwhelming box office returns painted a public unraveling. Even Disney's marketing juggernaut couldn't rewrite the narrative once audience sentiment had shifted.
Welcome, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot.
Visual effects push the boundaries of what we see on screen.
Their work makes the impossible seem possible.
With breathtaking ambition, they create magic that wraps its arms around our wildest imaginations.
Here are the nominees for Best Visual Effects.
In what should have been a celebratory Oscars appearance, Rachel Zegler walked the red carpet alongside co-star Gal Gadot. The tension between them was palpable. Photos and videos of the pair showed a distinct lack of warmth, with Gadot barely acknowledging Rachel during press appearances, standing stiffly and avoiding eye contact. What made it worse for Rachel was that Gadot's reputation remained untarnished. She continued booking roles, securing brand deals, and attending industry events without controversy, while Rachel found herself increasingly isolated. She was praised by a handful of die-hard supporters, but drowned in a sea of criticism. Her Oscars appearance, meant to be damage control, instead cemented her position as the face of Snow White's failure. All the goodwill she had earned from West Side Story seemed to vanish overnight. Her attempt to modernize a beloved classic was interpreted as disrespectful. Confidence read as arrogance, and her effort to reclaim control of the narrative spectacularly backfired. What had been meant as her breakout leading role became the very thing that fractured her public image, and perhaps even her career trajectory. Rachel's viral meltdown may have been the spark, but the fuel had been building for months. Once the box office numbers began to collapse, online critics wasted no time digging up old interviews, resurfacing every controversial comment she had made. Chief among them was her infamous take on the original Snow White. In clip after clip, Rachel could be seen rolling her eyes, laughing, or dismissing the classic film, giving critics the material they needed to frame her as out of touch and ungrateful. But instead of being celebrated for a feminist retelling, she was mocked for missing the point and for trashing a film that generations have cherished. The backlash didn't come only from trolls or fringe voices. Longtime Disney fans, the ones who buy the merchandise, attend the parks, and show up on opening weekend, felt insulted and alienated. Parents said they wouldn't take their children to see a movie where the lead actress had openly disrespected the original. Grandparents posted TikToks explaining how the classic had touched them as children and why they had no interest in seeing it reimagined by someone who seemed to have nothing but disdain for it. Even neutral viewers, curious about the remake, were caught up in the controversy, with discussions of respect, legacy, and modern reinterpretation dominating social media. Memes, reaction videos, and opinion threads multiplied at an astonishing pace. Every dismissive remark from Rachel was dissected and circulated, fueling the narrative that she was arrogant and ungrateful. What had been intended as a progressive reimagining quickly became a lightning rod for debate over nostalgia, feminism, and celebrity accountability. Critics began to pile on, attacking not just the tone of Rachel's comments, but her attitude throughout the press tour. Words like smug, entitled, and out of touch flooded every comment section. Unlike many stars who weather public criticism with grace or rally industry allies, Rachel found herself completely alone. There were no supportive tweets from co-stars, no directors defending her, and no heartfelt posts from fellow actresses about the pressures of Hollywood.